Hey YouTube, Mr. Shiny Time back again. This is gonna be one of the more serious videos I make because this video has something directly to do with something that my friend is going through, and I just want to talk about it. You know what I mean? This video is gonna be related to single mothers and dealing with women who have kids if you decide to date a woman with kids. Now I've known I have this friend, and I've known him since middle school basically. I mean, he came over from Nigeria in 8th grade, and that's when me and him met, was in 8th grade. And I've known him all throughout high school until now. So I'm 27, so we've known each other for quite a while. Now I went to the service right after high school, and he was one of the guys who really, you know those type of guys. They really don't do much after high school. They hang around, go to the clubs, chase the same bitches, smoke weed, drink, basically that shit. He's been doing that shit basically since we graduated high school, And recently he decided that he was gonna date a single mother. Now, this particular chick she's fat. All right, she's very fat. She has 3 kids. One of them is the oldest one, I believe, is 7, and the mother is only 22. Now, automatically, right then and there, that's red flags for me. I'm telling you, I wouldn't go anywhere near. I'm not sticking my dick anywhere near that bitch, even if she looked good. She's got 3 kids, 22 years old, 3 different fathers, and all the fathers are locked up. And that's the story that I've gotten. That's red flags. I'm not going nowhere near that bitch. Alright? I'm not letting her in my apartment. I'm not doing anything. I'm not even associating with her. Don't call me on the phone. Don't do anything. You know what I mean? But that's just me if I were in that situation. But this friend of mine, he decides, he doesn't have much going for him. He doesn't really have a place to stay. His parents are basically like, we don't want anything to do with you anymore, so he shacks up with this fat single mother. And they've been together for a month or two, few weeks. But then shit starts to go sour, of course, it usually does. So shit goes bad between them. Now this bitch is accusing him of molesting her daughter, the oldest of her 3 kids, who's 7 years old. And it's basically her word against his, you know what I mean? He was arrested a couple days ago by the police for disorderly conduct. And now supposedly the mother is wanting to press charges against him for child sexual assault or sexual abuse or whatever. And I'm like, I've known the dude for a long time, and I've never known him to be that type of person. But then again, you never know what kind of secrets people might be hiding. But this story just makes me remind me, and want to give people advice that you have to be very careful when you're dealing with single mothers, especially when the children are very young. When the children can't really speak for themselves and they're easily manipulated by the parents. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna date a single mother, you have to be distant from those kids. Don't try to go in there and be all buddy-buddy with the kids or try to assume the father role, because that's just a recipe for disaster, not only for you but for the child too. Dating single mothers is like, I don't know, I've done it. I've dated one single mother in my life. It lasted a few months. It wasn't anything that was serious. I wasn't trying to marry the chick, but I never was like, oh, let me watch your son while you go out, or let me take your son to the park, or let me go to the park with you and your son. I've never tried to play the father role to the kid. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not the father, and I shouldn't be playing the father role. You know? I would come over late at night. Usually the kid was either about to go to bed or he was already in bed, so I never really had to deal with him much. Sometimes the kid would interrupt us, when we were getting down. Sometimes the kid would wake up in the middle of the night and, I'm drilling the mother and the kid walks in. But he was young. He was only, he was about 2 years old at the time. So, it wasn't like he was being damaged for life. But yeah, anyway, I was very distant, I saw the kid, acknowledged the kid's presence, but I wasn't, trying to jump into that fatherly role. And a lot of dudes do that, they try to come in and assume the role of father figure to the women's kids. Don't do that shit. Because if things go bad between you and the woman, there is always that potential that she's going to try and get back at you by saying you did something to her kids. And it's your word against his, or it's your word against hers. How are you going to defend yourself? And here in America, when it comes to child molestation and child abuse, you are guilty until proven innocent. If you're a black man, you are most definitely guilty until proven innocent. So when you're dealing with single mothers, cover your ass. Cover your ass. If you want the pussy that badly, and she's got a bunch of kids, either you have her come over your house without the kids, or you have the kids stay with the father when you're trying to come over and get down. Or if there's no other alternative, just make sure you're strictly platonic with the children. You know what I mean? Don't be alone with the kids. Make sure the mother's always there when the kids are around. You got to protect yourself. Because they will lock you up for anything nowadays, especially when it comes to suspected child abuse. If you get put on that sex offender registry, your life is done. You're going to be living a miserable life for the next 10 to 15 years if you get put on a sex offender registry. You can't leave the country, so you can't really start over unless you somehow sneak out of the country. There's only certain places you can live. Forget about getting any kind of decent job if you're a sex offender. So you got to be careful. The feminazis out there are doing their damnedest to demonize men, to make every man look like we're all molesters and pedophiles. You got to cover your own ass, because once you're on that list, it's going to take a damn miracle to get you off of it. And I don't even know what the minimum time frame is for being on that list. I think it's like 10, 20 years or something like that. I'm not sure. But it's a long time. It ain't a couple years. So yeah, you got to cover your own ass when dealing with single mothers. And a lot of single mothers are looking for that father figure to their kids because they fucked up. The father doesn't want to be a father to the kid or something like that. Who knows? Now they're trying to get you to take on that role. Don't do it. Don't do it. I guess that's all I gotta say. I wanna feel bad for my friend, but at the same time, he should have known better. Especially a woman with 3 kids, who had her first one. She was 15, and all the babies' daddies are in jail. Never married to any of them. That's red flags, man. That's a bunch of red flags. I'm not even. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Cover your own ass. Thanks for listening.